Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now, today's first story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. It's a story that happened and then a year later came in with an update. And it's titled, Am I the Arsehole for not moving my wedding date? My fiance and I got engaged, and when looking at dates, we realized our anniversary falls on a Saturday this year. Perfect, right? We immediately started planning because it's approximately 9 months out and we have to move quick to pull a wedding together. We told everyone the potential date this weekend and all seemed well. Monday, I get a phone call from my father. He insists that I move the date because my mother has a yoga retreat that weekend. I tell him that this date means a lot to me, and I'd prefer to keep it, and if there is any way to move the retreat. There is, but it's expensive. I offer to pay for this change out of my wedding budget, essentially halving the amount that I can spend on the most important event of my life. Yesterday I was told that they would not be taking my offer to pay to move the retreat and that we're expected to move the wedding instead. I haven't put money on my venue yet, so they think I should be fine with giving up the chance to marry on a date. That means a lot to me. It became a massive fight, and now my parents and I aren't speaking. My father accused me of caring about a date more than I care about my mother. I told him that it felt though as they were choosing yoga over their own daughter. And the first commenter says, your parents are prioritizing a yoga retreat over your wedding. And then quotes, I told him that it felt that they were choosing yoga over their own daughter. And then says they 100% are. Have the wedding without them, not the arsehole. Apartment Flood says not the arsehole, and the next time your parents invite you to something, tell them namaste at home. Bamp says not the arsehole. First of all, congratulations on your upcoming wedding. However, I'm sorry to say that your parents have made it perfectly clear on their priority list. You, their child, is, and it is apparently below yoga. And you are right, she is choosing yoga over you. A yoga retreat is something that can be done anytime. Your wedding will only happen once. Don't let your father say that you don't care about your mother. He's gaslighting you. The Mike says not the arsehole. If your mother puts a yoga retreat over your wedding date, then that's on her. It'd be different if you decided to get married this weekend, not 9 months out. I get that it's inconvenient and possibly an expensive schedule conflict, but the odds of you getting a date on the calendar that works for everyone is basically 0%. And another commenter says not the arsehole. Your parents are being absurdly self-centered. The polite thing for them to do would be to reschedule or cancel the retreat without ever telling you, not to impinge on your wedding plan excitement. Just to make sure, because this is honestly so over the top, it's baffling to me. Is your mum attending the retreat? Or is she leading it? Opie says attending. They have this retreat yearly. And there are also makeup dates for the classes she would miss. And a final comment which says, a date is just a date. Expecting your mother to change an outing that was booked almost a year out seems a little entitled. Are your parents financing any of your wedding? Are you effectively using their money to pay the rescheduling penalty? Why part with half your entire wedding budget to pay a penalty instead of simply picking another date? You can certainly dig in your heels and continue the me or yoga narrative, which complicates and overshadows your day. Remember, your mum booked and paid for yoga well before your announced engagement. You are disrupting her plans at significant financial expense because you feel you are owed. The date clash sucks, but was completely unforeseen. So OP comes in with her update, which was a year later. It says, hey everyone, it's been a while. I forgot my password, but a few people asked for updates on how my last post turned out. Unfortunately, a lot of you may not like the answer. Almost all of you said not to change the date and to enjoy my time without them there. I followed half of that advice. I eventually did relent to my family and changed the date of the wedding. My fiance, now husband, said that the date wasn't as important as my happiness, and the fighting with my parents was destroying that. Now, after 6 months, we both wish we hadn't because it was useless. They still didn't show up. Not only that, but they convinced 90% of my family not to show up either. I ended up with only 4 relatives there in a crowd of about 100 guests. My mother claimed that I had been excluding her from planning by scheduling venue tours on days that my fiance and I were both free, But I didn't realize she was working, and by finding my dress by surprise on a just here to look trip without her being there. They hadn't shown any interest in planning, so I mainly didn't want to bother them. For them, this was clearly a sign that you don't want us there. So they went out of town on the new date. In the end, narcissist mother still got a yoga. I still moved my date, and I still walked myself down the aisle. But my petty self did, in fact, strike back. I had an amazing time, and I made sure that I left obvious empty seats marked for them and told everyone the truth with a smile when they asked. The few family members that did show are no longer speaking to them either, as are all the friends who came. The only exception is my brother, who I'm pretty sure they asked to relay the details of the party to them, and even he almost entirely cut them off just to how they've acted. I haven't spoken to my mother since about a month before the wedding, when she told me to get all of my old things out of her house. I speak to my father very rarely, and only over things like deaths in the family. My in-laws have basically taken me in as their own, and I'm far happier than I ever was in the nightmare of a family I grew up with. Life is good. And a couple of people in the comments below that were suggesting she's going to eventually let them back in because she got no spine. And one of the comments, which I like this comment, came back in. This was from Agreeable Lion, who said that Reddit's obsession with the shiny spine bullshit is so laughable. Is it meant to be deep or something? It's fine to mouth off from the sidelines where you have zero emotional investment in any of the people involved. Cutting contact with toxic family members shouldn't be an easy step one. Assuming you're a human being with normal emotions and attachments to people. Struggling with breaking free from abusive and narcissistic family doesn't mean you have no spine, and it's pretty sociopathic to describe OP that way. And I totally agree with that comment. You know, I always say it like it's very easy for me to say this from behind a microphone because I'm not living it, I've not grown up with it, I've not been normalized to the behavior that you've had to go through. And I know myself about normalized behavior, and then like years later thinking, what the fuck, that wasn't very normal. Like I tell you about some of the stories that I've had where I grew up and people tell me, that's not fucking normal, mate. And I'm like, really? And it's one of the things that I love about these stories, and that's not playing down anyone's, you know, pain, trauma that they're going through or anything like that. But I've learned a lot about myself and my upbringing and how to deal with certain things as well. I think it's pretty amazing. And OP said that people might be disappointed. I'm personally not disappointed because it gave them like an opportunity to prove themselves, if you like, that one last chance to show up. But they chose to show how shitty they are, so OP was able to move on without too much worry and show the rest of the wedding party exactly what her parents are like and fully recognize like the toxic behaviors, etc. I suspect there was a lot more going on behind this one post, and you know, OP's growing up. These kind of things have probably happened time and time again. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Our next story comes from a throwaway account from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and says, Am I the Arsehole Here for leaving my fiance after I learned there were strippers at a bachelorette party? What the title reads basically, I, 29 male, and my ex-fiancée, 29 female, were together for 5 years. We should have been married now in the normal conditions, but I broke up with her and cancelled the wedding 2 days before it because they invited male strippers to the bachelorette party. I am personally not a fan of these parties, but reluctantly agreed after both groom and bride side confirmed we would keep it simple. I told my ex-fiancée I'm not comfortable with strippers or other kind of crazy things. She agreed. I also told my friends that if they were to do a stupid thing without me knowing, we would have problems. We stayed at my friend's summer house and chilled there by the pool, did some WoW raids, World of Warcraft, and played board games. My ex-fiancée and her friends went to a restaurant, then rented an Airbnb. There was no problem during the night, and the next day, I asked how things went. She and her close friends said it was really chill and good. We returned to the city centre after that. I encountered another bridesmaid that day when I was shopping for a bracelet for my ex-fiancée for her upcoming birthday. I asked that girl, how's everything, as we're in the same department at college but rarely talk now. She's closer with my fiancé than me. She said it's going good and last night was crazy with all the strippers. After saying that, she looked uncomfortable. I asked her about the details, but she was not willing to tell much. I think she realized she should not have talked about it. I laughed, said goodbye, and left. I confronted my fiancée and she seemed surprised about it. She was denying it at first, then told me nothing crazy happened and one of the bridesmaids invited strippers. I reminded her that it was a strict boundary for me. I asked about the details, but she said there was nothing much with the strippers, just solo dances and that's it. I told her I need some time to think. Almost all of the bridesmaids messaged me, ensuring nothing happened when I was on my way back home. Definitely not coordinated. Things happened after that, but in the end I decided to break up and cancel the wedding. I lost some money since it was only 2 days before the wedding. Things are not cool right now. My head is messed up. I get criticism from everyone and no idea about what to do. My sister told me to see a therapist to process my thoughts and feelings. That is what I'll do next. Some mutuals suggested to me that I should consider things and stop being so whiny about such a small thing. I do not think it's such a small thing, especially when they all tried to hide it from me. Am I the arsehole here? Look, you both discussed this at the very start before the parties happened, and it happened, so you're going to lose trust. It's as simple as that for me. But it also felt like there was some trickle truthing going on. There wasn't much of it, but it went from like, it was really chill and good, bumping into the friend who said it was good and crazy. The next fiance tells you nothing crazy happened, but one of the bridesmaids just invited strippers, just like off the cuff, nothing too bad happened. Look, I don't know what happened, but it always feels like there's more to it. But of course, I'm reading on the outside here. Bored at Home says, not the arsehole. It was crazy with all the strippers is hugely different from it was really chill and good. This isn't just lying. This is a total reversal of the truth. Even her, it was just solo dancers is not the same as crazy. So they are lying. All of them, except the first one. Nature says she violated your trust. You both agreed no strippers. She had strippers. It doesn't matter who made the arrangement. She could have told them to leave. Then when you knew, she lied and then doubled down and initially denied it. She stretched the violation of your trust further. Not a way to start a marriage. You did the correct thing. If you married her, you wouldn't know if how or when she was lying. Not the arsehole. Divine Tarot says, and quotes, almost all of the bridesmaids messaged me ensuring nothing happened when I was on my way back home. Definitely not coordinated. Then says, I always find the closing of ranks from the friend group disturbingly manipulative. Like congrats, a gaggle of guilty girls are telling me nothing happened. Now I extra don't believe you. Your sister has the right of it though. A therapist will be able to help with processing your feelings. However, you're not the arsehole because she violated a hard boundary for shits and gigs. And a final comment from H. Simpson who says, not the arsehole. You established the boundary of no strippers, then there were strippers. She did not immediately confess to the strippers, hid it from you, and then lied, denied it happening. This is a complete breach of trust and transparency. Do not focus on what actually happened with the strippers as it's totally unprovable. You'll never know the truth. She already lied once. No way she's going to come clean about what happened at the party itself. Focus on how you established a boundary and that there would be consequences if broken. She disrespected you and the relationship when she chose the party over what she agreed to. She's not upset because she broke your trust. She's upset she got caught and there's consequences. Your sister is right. You probably could benefit from therapy to work through your emotions, and yes, this is a big deal. What a shitty way it would have been to start a marriage after that. You showed integrity by cancelling. Trust is broken. Take your time to consider how you'll move forward. You deserve better. So, OP then comes in with her update and says, I read most of the comments in the original post and thank you for the advice. My problem was that, not her being blindsided by her friends, but lying. Every bridesmaid told different things and none of them gave details about what had happened. I believe you can understand it just shatters the trust and makes you think there is something going on. I thought there was something wrong with me after reading the comments. There are a lot of you're the arseholes and I thought I should apologize. One of the bridesmaids reached out to me last evening. I suspect she saw the post somewhere and recognized it. I knew my fiancée was having problems with her friend since last week, but I did not know the extent. Apparently my ex-fiancée and her close friends blamed the girl that I encountered at the mall about everything. This divided the group and led into a verbal fight. I will skip the personal details here, but in the end she told me my ex-fiancée and other bridesmaids got sexual with the strippers. My fiancée was the only one who had a boyfriend /fiancé/spouse, at least monogamously, there to my knowledge. Also, I was told by her that my ex-fiancé was not blindsided with the stripper invites. She was happy to see the strippers and was relieved she had an excuse. I do not have proof for all of these, but I got a short video of girls making out with strippers. One of the girls is my ex-fiancé, and that's enough. She'd been trying to reach out to me since we broke up. I confronted her again. At first, she denied it again, then it became we just touched. Then, okay, we kissed too. Okay, I gave him a handjob. Finally, I was coerced into doing these by others as I pressed on. I just blocked her after the last part. I did not see any need to learn further. I was hurt already, but learning that I got cheated on hurt more. I'm not sure if it's the full truth even now. I will never know, but all I can say is it hurts. I will go to a therapist. To not carry my luggage to my next relationship. I lost 15k from the wedding related things and need to focus on filling the hole for a while. Some misogynists made weird comments about women and I'll just ignore them. Some of the people told me that I'm insecure, an unfunny nerd for playing WoW on my bachelor party. Isn't the whole point of bachelor's parties having one last fun? It was raiding non-stop with the boys for me, not having one last sexual interaction with a stranger or having a stranger's butt on my face or penis. I will not miss out on these during marriage anyways, omitting the stranger part. That's it. It's therapy time tomorrow and thank you for the help. And one final comment from that post which says you've been through a tough time and made a hard but necessary decision. Discovering your ex-fiance's dishonesty and infidelity at a bachelorette party understandably broke your trust. Therapy is a great step to heal and avoid carrying this baggage into future relationships. Ignore the negative comments about your bachelor party. Everyone's idea of fun is different. Losing money on wedding expenses adds stress, but see it as an investment in your future happiness. Take care of yourself, focus on healing, and when you're ready, you'll find a relationship built on mutual respect and trust. Yeah, and absolutely ignore those people who's giving you shit about doing a bachelor party like you wanted to. A LAN party sounds like a fucking good time to me. Beers, computer, pizza, what a fucking time, I love it. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And we're going to have one more story from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from LiveActive7449. It says, am I the arsehole or are we the arsehole for making my husband carry his own stuff on a camping trip? My husband and I, along with two couples we're friends with, all early to mid 40s, decided to go on a backpack/hammock camping trip. All of us except my husband are experienced campers. I was very surprised he wanted to go, but also happy he wanted to participate in an activity I enjoy. Before the camping trip, we all met up multiple times and discussed what to bring and agreed we needed to pack as lightly as possible. We'd be carrying everything in backpacks and sleeping in hammocks. My husband also agreed with this. The day of the trip, my husband packed 8 outfits, 5 pairs of shoes, 4 pairs of swim trunks, and 5 pairs of pajamas, along with an inflatable queen-size mattress, matching sheet and comforter set, battery-operated air pump, portable white noise machine, laptop, tablet, portable hotspot, and charger. There was some other stuff, but I don't recall what those were. Naturally, he packed more than anyone else. When we arrived with our friends to our destination, it was a several-mile hike to where we planned to set up at. My husband started trying to delegate to others who should carry what of his stuff. I told him we all agreed that we'd each carry our own gear, and that meant he's responsible for his. He argued back, saying he had more than he could handle and needed help. I reminded him that he knew how much to pack. There'd be lots of hiking, and he didn't bother to use a backpack, but instead, two full-size roller suitcases. He told me I'm being petty and he's new to this, so give him a break. He then tried getting our friends on his side by pointing out how it's his first time camping and he didn't know what to do. I interjected and said he'd been part of all of our meetings to prepare and he'd heard everything that was said and chose to disregard it. I then encouraged our friends to stick to our agreement of everyone carries their own stuff and said it's not fair to me or anyone else in our group to put extra burden on ourselves by carrying my husband's stuff because he made the poor decision to grossly overpack. After a short debate, everyone else ended up agreeing with me and my husband had to carry his own gear/stuff. My husband ended up being far more worn out than the rest of us because of how much he had to carry. Now he's tired, cranky and sore, and still saying I was unreasonable to expect him to carry all of that on his own. Am I the arsehole for making my husband carry what he packed? PTA, when my husband was packing, I reminded him what he needed to bring and told him he's way overpacking to be practical. He insisted he needed everything he packed as well, as insisted on using the roller suitcases as carrying a backpack is too embarrassing for him. Now I was thinking, not like it's OP's responsibility, but if it was my partner, my wife, husband, whatever, and I noticed that they was seriously overpacking like OP said, I'd be reminding him, look, you're not going to need all that. You can't take all that because simply, it's not suitable for backpacking and you're going to end up either, exhausted or hurt. But the fact is OP did this and he insisted that he needs everything and carrying a backpack is too embarrassing. I'm just trying to picture this guy with 2 roller suitcases on like a hiking trail. And how long is this fucking hike that he needs 4 pairs of swim trunks? But Ditto says, you're not the arsehole, and says he didn't bother to use a backpack but instead 2 full-size roller suitcases. Oh, that image, man. Not going to leave my head all day. Then continues, the heck did he think you were hiking to? The 15th floor of a Hilton resort. If you were an arsehole, you would have turned on the GoPro and posted the videos of him trying to drag those things through the terrain to your campsite. And I'll be asking you to post a link. Next commenter says, not the arsehole. He knew it was an unreasonable amount to carry. That's why he started trying to have other people carry his stuff before even starting out. You gave ample warning and planning sessions and he agreed to the terms. Good on you for forcing him to live with his crappy decisions. Who does that as well? Like, you turn up with all this crap and then you're insisting everyone else carry some of it as well. It's like, who's going to have my stuff? What the hell? And one final comment with a reply from OP. They said, not the arsehole. And it sounds like your husband is the guy that thinks he knows more than everybody else. He didn't use the wisdom of everybody else and he didn't listen to you. He was stubborn and he just decided to do things his own way. I think it's a great learning lesson for him. OP says he's very much the 99% of the time is convinced he's the smartest person in every room/situation guy. Oof. Now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. Can you imagine that situation? Just like on some sort of hiking trail, this guy with 2 full roller suitcases. Imagine the noise he's making as he's dragging these buggers. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.